Okay, everyone, how's it going? And welcome to CRTK Laboratories. As you can see, there are monitors absolutely everywhere, just the way it should be, correct? So I have something that might be of some interest to many people, I would assume. PlayStation 4 on a CRT, lag-free. So let's take a look at it. Okay, just look at this beautiful demo attract mode running. Of course, this is the great 1997 CPS2 arcade hardware. Beat 'em up by, well, obviously Capcom. Battle Circuit. And, yeah, this is actually running on the Capcom Beat 'em Up bundle. A fantastic collection of six wonderful beat 'em up games from the Capcom library of beat 'em ups, and yeah, on the PS4. Pick it up if you don't have it. I've had this one for quite some time, and this is kind of the first video doing on it, but actually not really the purpose of the video specifically. Yeah, this is a PlayStation 4, and it is running on a 31 kHz VGA PC CRT monitor. So fantastic RGB color space via the VGA input, of course. And yeah, this thing, that's not necessarily something it does, right? It's a HDMI connection. However, I have a nifty little lag-free HDMI to VGA adapter running, and wow, fantastic. And I'll kind of turn the lights on and just show you the setup very briefly so you can kind of take a gander at exactly how everything is connected in case you're wanting to do something similar with your own setup. So let's take a brief look at that. The only way to play these games, you don't want to play this on an LCD, I'm telling you. And as you can see right here, the PlayStation 4. Here is the hardwired VGA cable running from the back of the Philips 109S. And I have it connected up to a female-to-female VGA gender changer. And there is the lag-free HDMI to VGA adapter. So quite nice setup. Goodness gracious. That is a sexy picture that you are beholding. And you know what? Maybe some people who, I don't know, maybe aren't so familiar with these monitors and are obviously more accustomed to hooking up something like a PlayStation 4, which only really does HDMI to an LCD, LED, plasma, anything like that. You might be, I suppose, wondering why exactly you'd want to do this. Well, you know, besides the obvious reasons, yeah, there's so many just aspects of CRT technology that you're not going to be able to, especially for these retro, sprite-based, hand-drawn, just wonderful looking classic retro 80s and in this case 90s arcade games. The LCD, the flat panel, modern technology display just really pales in comparison, just beyond what words could even describe, if you're going to compare it to, oh man, a monitor such as this one. You know, if you do have a HD or UHD display, a 1080p or 4K panel, you can obviously just do the standard thing and hook your PlayStation 4 up to said monitor with the HDMI cable. And being that Capcom did update this collection of games with a quite nice scanline filter, you'll be able to get pretty decent results. Now, there are so many issues that come into play with those modern flat panel LCD, LED plasma displays. You're just really going to encounter such a wide array of variability in terms of the quality of the modern display. For instance, the manufacturers, they just do not list the input lag at all. So that's something you're going to have to dig deeper with different sites like rtings.com, for instance. And, there are several others. And you could probably find one, a nice TV with the, if it's really good in terms of the input lag, 10 milliseconds. But I mean, how would you like to have 0? Well, that's what you have here. And there are gaming monitors that kind of put you down more into that 4 millisecond lag range, but oftentimes the panels are, in terms of the colors and different viewing angles that they produce, not so desirable at all. And if you've got an older 720p panel, very few true 720p panels were made. They're actually 768p panels, which they never were listed as. So they're really 1366 by 768, and it's just really hard to scale games like this and get scan lines to look really nice on those. You'll often get a pretty nasty moire pattern on those 768p LCD panels. And like I said, you can scale this game quite well on 1080p or 4K LCD, LED, or plasma, but they're so wide, and if you use the stretched resolution that this game does allow you to use, you're going to get a pretty bad shimmer on the vertical edges, the pixels, for instance, when there's a upward or downward movement. Right now I've got it just kind of running in the original resolution here, so I'm not experiencing any of that, and it fits quite nicely on a 4.3 CRT monitor. So there are many different benefits, but those are just kind of a few. What can I say? I think the images speak for themselves, really, if you'll just kind of look at just absolutely how beautiful that looks. CPS 2 games are notoriously difficult to scale, but whatever the integer scaling that they employed on this port, it's actually quite nice, and I'll show you if I can excuse me, go down to display settings. You want to have it in original. If you put it to full, it'll stretch it wide, which will actually quite nicely fill the screen even on a 4.3 display. But then, like I'm telling you, you'll get that ugly, awful kind of artifacting, that vertical shimmer on the. But here, so original and A3, you want to turn the scan lines to not these ones. These ones are bizarre, the B type, but A3, the thickest scan lines that you can get. They look quite nice. Set it to original. There you go. So with your little lag-free HDMI to VGA adapter, I mean, you've got something that's pretty much arcade perfect here. And like I was saying, CPS2 games they're kind of difficult to scale and name. I actually have recently devised a perfect solution for that, which I'll make a video about in the very near future, I would imagine. But yeah, just giving you some scanline prawn for your enjoyment while I ramble about. And I mean, this is not the only useful application. I mean, obviously, like the Konami Anniversary Collection of Shoot 'em Up, and well, there was the Castlevania platformer is on there as well. Another game that works just absolutely, really perfectly with this type of display and setup. But I mean, I've even tested this out with, for instance, the Final Fantasy XII Zodiac Age remake, and I gotta tell you, man, it looks pretty stunningly nice. Like I said, with CRT technology, even with these modern displays, there's some things that they just can't replicate. And for a game like that one, I was actually really quite surprised. But I suppose I shouldn't be. It's a CRT. They can do everything, even fly. So, and yeah, I mean, these another thing. I'm rambling here, just things I'm remembering off the top of my head that I wanted to talk about. But for the modern day displays, the LCDs, LEDs, they're all fixed pixel displays. So whenever you blast something at the screen, that image, for instance, this one, if you put it in its original aspect ratio that they've included on here, it's not going to fill all the screen, and it's going to be not only kind of with the borders on the side, but letterboxed at the top and the bottom. Now, CRTs are not fixed pixel displays, so I'm running this 1080p resolution to this thing, and with the onboard display controls, it's quite easy to use the zoom or the horizontal and vertical aspect ratio controls to kind of get it to pretty much fill this 4:3 monitor quite nicely with perfect scaling. So that's a very good thing to have. Quite useful tool, and I mean, yeah, it just doesn't look any better than this. This is how these games are supposed to be played on CRT monitors. Those simulated scan lines look absolutely gorgeous. So yeah, you're enjoying looking at them, and I'm rambling on. Is there anything else I wanted to talk about? I'm sure there are always things, but so many things on my mind right now. Just a few kind of talking points I had that I could kind of conjure up real briefly off the top of me old mind. So yeah, PlayStation 4 on a 31 kHz VGA PC CRT looks absolutely just lovely. Beyond that, in fact. Nice little cheap and easy lag-free HDMI to VGA adapter if you've got one of these monitors. Yeah, I mean, this is the ideal application for it, but I mean, like I was saying, you can get ton of different games to look nice on these. I believe actually like the max resolution of this monitor, which it must be, 20 years old or so. Even back then, in the late 90s, early 2000s, a nice VGA PC CRT monitor such as this one could do max resolutions of over 1440p. It's like mind-blowing stuff. It easily handles 1080p, this thing, well before that was even a standard or a term that people were even in their wildest dreams familiar with. Unbelievable stuff. So yeah, you can almost get a 4K resolution with this. You could get well over 1440p. Just absolutely amazing stuff. What can you say? I love CRTs, especially monitors, especially VGA CRT monitors. So, okay. Hope you found this enjoyable and beautiful to look at, and yeah, talk to all of you guys soon. Take care.